Hi guys, welcome to A Guide to Wanderlust. Today we're sadly leaving Heidelberg and we're going to head to Glasgow tonight from Frankfurt. Tonight we're going to be landing about midnight, which is going to be extremely tiring, a long day of travel plus all the cleaning we have to do today. This has been such a great house sit. We've really enjoyed our time here. Heidelberg has been the most amazing place, and if you're thinking of visiting but you're a little bit unsure, I highly suggest that you make it one of your top places to visit in Germany. And we're really sad to be leaving because we've really enjoyed the company of the dogs here. The people are so friendly and there's so much to do here in such a small footprint of a town. But that's just what happens with slow travel and living nomadically. So on to our next adventure in Glasgow and then down to Whithorn for the next month. And what I'm going to do today is show you a little bit of an insight in how we pack and how we clean up before we move. So this is how we pack when we travel. And because this is everything we own, we actually compartmentalize stuff into things that we are going to have in transit and then things that we're going to have when we finally open up our suitcases and move into our new house. So this is the transition suitcase here. We've got Emery's clothes, probably 2 to 3 days worth of pajamas, t-shirts, pants, plus a couple of t-shirts and pants for me. In the middle here, we have stacked up some chargers and various tech cords. And then when we come into the back here, we've got enough space here for, let's say, some Milo and some coffee. Spider-Man mask, obviously, much needed. And then underwear, socks, and various other small things. So this is Emery and my suitcase. These are the white sneakers I can't part with, but I rarely wear. And my boots that I've had for years, but they're so handy and they're so compact, I can just fold them up. And obviously the winter clothes that I'm keeping. Pretty much no summer clothes left in here. And then in the top compartment, obviously books for Emmy's education, plus paper, as well as our podcast mic, and some more shoes of ours. So we're looking pretty good so far. This will close, but whether it gets under 23 kilos is a different story. I think that our packing process and our culling process have improved drastically. Every single time that we pack, we are getting rid of more and more stuff. And there have been things that I've been carrying around for a year in anticipation for winter. And strangely, half of them I'm not using. Not because they're not in good condition, but just because I had not wearing them anymore. And it's been cool here for about a week now. And in that time frame, I've only essentially been using, let's say, 20% of the stuff that I had. So that just means I can throw out the other stuff. And if we really, really need to pick up some other things, there will be other shops and things like that, obviously, in Glasgow, and we can pick up other supplies there. And this just streamlines the packing process. We do actually have to get our weight below 23 kilos for both check-in bags, which is absurd, right? Because other flights are 32 kilos. It's a nice challenge to have. We did leave London with 8 kilos over, with almost 75 kilos, and we had to essentially get rid of almost an entire suitcase when we left, by choice, of course. And now we've come down here, we're getting rid of more, so we are going to have less than 2 suitcases worth, but we will still keep both suitcases. Another good thing to have when you're traveling with this carry-on luggage is coffee and Milo, or hot chocolate. These come in handy because not every place has that, and I would take a bottle opener because some places don't have bottle openers either, and sometimes you just want a glass of wine after you've landed after a long trip. So we've just all had a nap for about an hour each, done most of our packing and the cleaning. The trip is going to take about 2 hours from when we leave here to when we get to the airport. Most of it's sitting on a train, so it should be cruisy from here on. And hopefully from here, everything runs smoothly from the airport to Glasgow. So we finally arrived in Scotland last night at about 12:30, went straight to our hotel and was very smooth. A very small hotel room for about £70 for the night. But now we're here to pick up our rental car. One of the best things about house sitting is that all the money that you save from not paying accommodation costs, you can go get a rental car, which isn't always ideal because they can be expensive. But what it does is gives us the freedom to travel around Scotland for the next month, which is a great thing, and to see some of the cool locations that are around this beautiful country. So we got the car, and it's a really nice car. So getting a rental car can always be a pain in the butt, and they are expensive, as I previously mentioned. And this was no different. Laura had some issues with the company, and they wanted a credit card, a marriage certificate, my driver's license, just a whole bunch of different documents, which we haven't actually encountered before. So I think all rental cars are different each time. Laura made a little bit of a fuss. They wanted to keep us happy, so they gave us the upgrade. Today was the best travel day we've ever had. We left from Heidelberg, caught the train to Mannheim, then to Frankfurt, completely effortless and with no waiting times except for just when we had to wait for the trains. The staff were amazing. The check-in lady let us get away with, 14 kilos?
Yeah, extra
14 kilos of weight. So we were over. We were at 60, which I'm really proud of because that's down from like 95 a year ago. And now it's...
But we'd only paid for 2 bags.
Yeah. And so we're down to 60 now. And then we obviously went through nice and cruisy. We got on the flight. Flight was smooth as anything. And then immigration at Scotland is the nicest thing ever. The guy actually started having a chat with us. He just let us through, was asking us what we're going to do, compared to London. And we had the person asking us why we hadn't had exit flights and, what we were doing there because he thought we were going to overstay. It was just, like way too intense and really unpleasant after being in transit for about 24 hours. This was just by far the best transition we've had. Not the cheapest, I don't think, but not the most expensive either. So a great way to start coming into Scotland, and now we've got our freedom because we do have the car, and we're going to head somewhere now to see if we can have some lunch and then head to our Airbnb for the next 2 nights.